With the actual corner cabinets itself, the cabinets that go into the corner, this here is a different measurement to that, and it's normally a different measurement by 10 millimeters. And the reason why we have a 10 millimeter gap here and also a 10 millimeter gap along there where it meets up sort of, for example, to this cabinet, is because more often than not when the walls meet, they're not that square, especially when you start putting your joining tape down the middle there. That could pack it out by sometimes 4 or 5 millimeters, and if you have it too tight here in the corner, you can't get your corner cabinets in. So looking at it, if this corner cabinet here, the depth of it is 10 millimeters less than these cupboards here, then this just makes your installation a whole lot easier. And we've got the same scenario that's happening over on here. We've got a 10 millimeter gap there, 10 millimeter gap here, and the cupboard itself is hard to the wall. And the same, so we have the same thing on the other side as well. And that, again, the main purpose for that is just purely to make the installation process nice and easy. So for example, there's your base corner cabinet. If it has got the packing that goes all the way down the corner, when you do try to put this cupboard in, you're going to have a void here and a void there, and these cupboards won't line up with the front, and that's going to cause you a problem. So you're much better off doing this, which is the correct way of doing it, so that the front of the cupboards actually line up, and you actually you allow for a void at the rear of the actual cupboard. So to give you an example of this one here, if your distance from the left to the right was 900 millimeters and down there was 900 millimeters, if you did allow for a 10 mil void at the back, then your actual cupboard size that you order is actually 890. So you've got 890 on one side and 890 on the other side, and then that way, when you've got your other cupboards that are 580 deep, if you make the depth 570, then they're going to line up beautifully and you're going to create this 10 millimeter void at the back. So the actual order that you would actually place for a 900 cabinet is actually 890 wide and it's 570 millimeters deep, because of course you've got to allow for the 10 mil void if you want to achieve an overall depth of 580. So it's quite easy to do, but it's very, very useful to actually do this because it'll eliminate possible errors on site and avoid headaches on site as well. Now with an upper corner cabinet, we do the same sort of principle but slightly different. As a general rule, you'd have this area here going hard up against the wall, and this area here would be usually around about a 20 millimeter void. So this area here goes hard up against the wall, and this area here allows for a 20 millimeter void, because you're going to find that this distance that goes into the wall won't actually match up. Here's a little tip: if you don't have the upstands to actually adjust and raise so you can sit your cabinets on before screwing them to the back of the wall, one thing that we have done in the past is we've actually run a level line across. We've actually got a batten, and we've physically actually screwed the batten to the wall to give it some support. We're able then to put our wall cabinets up so they're leaning on the back corner here. You put your wall cabinet up and then you're actually able to screw that to the back of the wall. So even if you don't have the actual cabinet maker's adjustable stands, you can still mount your upper wall cabinets perfectly to the wall. The most crucial measurement that you've got when you're actually measuring your walls is measure at the height of your base cabinets from left to right, because when you're putting in the base cabinets, as a general rule, you're not going to have a filler, and the filler is designed to take up any slack or any adjustments in outer square walls. So the most crucial wall measurement that you're going to do is at your base cabinet height from left to right along there. Your upper cabinet height, as a general rule, you usually have a filler at one end or the other end of the actual kitchen to take up any variations if your walls, for example, go like that or actually come in. So this here usually is the filler for the cupboards that are running along the wall. and then you've actually got the filler that finishes it off in the corner. And that's your adjustment that you make to suit your outer square walls.